Thank you for that, Senator Pimentel, our Minority Leader. And in connection with the opening statement of Chairman Biason and of the manifestation of Senator Lacson, we made that clear in our oral arguments to the Supreme Court. There were several questions as to ilan tanong ba ang kailangan para gumawa ng batas. Ito bang tatlong tanong na to na natanong na ay essential para magkaroon ng legislation? Ilan hearing pa ba ang kailangan? These were some of the questions that were in good faith posed to our counsels. And I had the given opportunity to answer those questions, Your Honor, Mr. Minority Leader. And I quoted constitutionalist Father Bernas, who is in his constitutional law book said that it is not the individual questions or the parcels of information given in the committee that should be judged, but it should be the totality of questions and the whole pool or the totality of information gathered that will be used by the committee and the Senate in aid of legislation. And when we say in aid of legislation, it also includes our check and balance function, wherein it is our duty to inform the public, because only when the public is informed can it make good judgments in a democracy. So I think as to the manifestation of Senator Lacson, it is very clear that those who are saying that there are malintentions or bad intentions for this hearing, it is those with their own interest to stop these hearings. But we made it clear to the Supreme Court that we are simply exercising our powers and doing our constitutional duty, and we will proceed with this investigation in accordance with the Constitution and relevant laws.
Chairman, relative to the remarks of Senator Pimentel, and of course my own remarks, yes, indeed, this country is a democratic country, and everyone is free to express their own opinions on things. But when opinions is translated to actions, especially if these actions redound to constitute to obstruction, block, and even denigration of this chamber, then I think there is a need for us to examine it in some future time. I'm not going to pursue this particular point at this time, so that we may expedite the proceedings. The reason I raised this issue is that, again, it is also my opinion that when these opinions are translated into actions, as I said, that would constitute as an obstruction and a denigration of the proceedings in this chamber, then I am concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We share that concern, Chairman. Thank you very much. Just for some administrative matters and to expedite so that we can go to the witnesses, the resource persons and witnesses invited who are here today: one, Engineer Rodolfo Noel Losada, who is here, Junior. Number two, Secretary Leandro Mendoza was invited. He sent a letter, and although we do not agree with all of the contents, we'll make it part of the record, wherein they claim that they have already cooperated. But we do understand that there's a national strike on transportation, and he needs to be on top of that. We are happy that Secretary Fabila is here with us today, the Secretary of Trade and Industry.
Mr. Chairman, we are in receipt. First, we acknowledge the presence of Secretary Fabila, but we are also in receipt of a note from his office requesting either of two things: either that he be asked first because he has to attend to a cabinet meeting or to some call by the executive now, in fact, or if he can be allowed to come back, meaning this afternoon after that meeting. And so I yield to the consensus of our colleagues so that if in fact he will not be asked in this first round, then he can go and attend to his duties and come back sometime after lunch.
Chairman, the Majority Leader.
Yes, with the understanding perhaps that he will come back this afternoon.
This afternoon?
This afternoon, because
yes,
we will be extending until this afternoon, then perhaps we do not object to allowing Secretary Fabila to be excused.
I see the Secretary nodding, and this committee has always been reasonable, no? And of course, we respect a co-equal branch. So if you have a cabinet meeting, but may I ask, Secretary, will you be, if the cabinet meeting finishes while the committee is still going on, can the committee hearing is still going on, may we request that you return to the committee?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll be back.
And before you go, just one clarification, because it's all over the newspapers and radio and TV that the contract has been canceled.
That's right, Your Honor.
But we have yet received any written, any document that says it is canceled. Is there such a document?
There is no formal document, Your Honor, but I would suggest that the minutes of the bilateral meetings held in Shanghai, which was recorded by the Department of Foreign Affairs, would attest to the discussions of the President notifying President Hu Jintao then for the understanding that there's a need to cancel the project. I hope that would suffice, Your Honor.
So, Secretary, just to clarify, it's a need to cancel or to cancel, because if it's a written contract and there is no written consent from two parties that it is canceled, one party can sue under prevailing laws and the provisions of the contract. But if both parties agree to the cancellation, then no one can sue each other. No? So is there a agreement to cancel, or there was an actual cancellation, to your knowledge?
That was well reflected in the notes taken by the DFA during that bilateral.
And we will take it from there, and maybe we request copies of that so that we'll be able to...
I will request it from the DFA, Your Honor.
Okay. Maybe
Mr. Chairman.
if you're with the DFA Secretary, maybe you can bring it this afternoon so that we can expedite, please.
I'll do that, Your Honor.
Thank you, Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, just on this point, very briefly.
Senator Escudero.
Secretary Favila signed an MOU sometime in June, July of 2006 with ZTE, enumerating 4 or 5 projects. Isa lang po sa mga proyektong yon, yung NBN ZTE tinatawag natin ngayon. Maaari po bang malaman kay Secretary Favila, yung kontrata po ba sa ZTE ang kinansela o yung kontrata lamang patungkol sa NBN sa ZTE ang kinansela?
Your Honor, yung pong pinirmahan po...
Mr. Chairman, point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
I thought we
Senator.
have allowed Secretary Favila to leave in the meantime. Are we now
That's right.
asking questions?
Mr. Chairman, may we just perhaps, because we have agreed that there is a cabinet meeting.
Yes.
Then maybe when he returns.
Yes, we allowed him to go. We just wanted to clarify that before he went, because he may be able to bring those documents back. Maybe he can just answer that question of Senator Escudero, then you may go.
If he answers the question of Senator Escudero, there might be other questions that will be
Yes.
raised. So can we? Hopefully we can.
Well, maybe just a yes and no, then we'll excuse him, then we'll allow no more questions, just because it's been asked already.
As to the question, Your Honor, of the MOU that I signed, this is with the ZTE International Investments Limited. This is the investment arm of the ZTE Corporation that I signed in July 12 of 2006. It's merely a cooperative agreement to work towards the development and implementation of various investment activities. Now, as to the broadband project, this was canceled, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary, and we'll wait for your return later on.
Yeah. Thank you, Your Honor.
The other guests are ASEC.
Is Secretary Favila now
Yes.
excused?
Secretary Pavila is excused.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
He is still under oath. He took his oath when he testified in September, and he is still under oath. The other guest is ASEC Lorenzo Formoso, who confirmed, but who is not yet here. No, so since Secretary Mendoza is not here, and and ASEC Lorenzo Formoso is in the telecom office and not in the transportation side, we expect him to be here today. Brigadier General Prestosa of the President's Security Group, no confirmation yet, sent us a letter that he's waiting from higher office, from the Executive Secretary, whether he'll be permitted to appear. CPL or Corporal, is it Corporal? Corporal Ronilio Ramilla, Security and Emergencies Service Airport Police Department is here. We got his name from the logbook in the NAIA. Mr. Ramon Sales, former chairman, secretary of the CICT, he's here today and he's still under oath from his previous testimony when we started the inquiry. Former Chairman Benjamin Abalos with a letter of regrets, which we will incorporate in the minutes, in the records of the hearing. Together with Chairman Abalos, the other members of the Philippine National Police and the airport officials have similar letters and also explanations and also reply to our order to explain, to show cause why they should not be held in contempt. And in summary, what they're saying is that since there is now pending criminal cases in the Ombudsman and the DOJ is doing its investigation, therefore, they should not be made to testify here. No? And we will make, again, their replies as part of the record, and we will also come out with a memo which will contain the legal arguments of the committees, basically saying that in a long line of cases, it is very clear that while it is true that an accused cannot be made to testify, that is in a criminal case. But if there is a different hearing, for in this case a legislative hearing, they can be made to appear as a witness, except that when they are asked questions that tend to incriminate them, they can refuse to answer that question. But it is very clear that they have to appear before the committee. Mr. Quirino de la Torre, the subpoena was unserved. He cannot be located on given address. PSI Albert Tapulao informed the OSAA subpoena servers that Mr. de la Torre already retired and that the present occupant of MOQ 7 is General Emmanuel Carta. But we will continue to try to locate him. Mr. Leo San Miguel, subpoena served, duly received by his son, and he is here with us today. Mr. Ruben Reyes, he has a letter of regret. Mr. Jaime Paz, subpoena unserved, cannot be located on given address. ZTE Corporation, subpoena for Ms. Fan Yang and Mr. Yu Yong. Mr. Zung Zhu, Vice President for Administration, and Mr. Wang Feng, senior staff, refused to receive the subpoena and informed the Office of the Sergeant at Arms that subpoena servers to coordinate with ACRA Law Office through Attorney Trina Prodigalidad. I was informed that the OSAA went to the ACRA Law Office and they were told to coordinate again with the ZTE because Mr. Yu Yong and Fan Yang is not their client, but their clients are ZTE. So we are sorting that out now. Mr. Enrique Razon was also invited on motion of Senator Madrigal and sent a letter out of the country, Hong Kong previous engagement. Remedios Poblador sent us a letter also from her lawyer saying that they cannot see the relevance of her testifying because we have not mentioned her. But may I remind her counsel or that there's no wrongdoing ascribed to her. But she is a resource person and she was named by Mr. Losada when he first came here to testify. And he was also named in the Garci Doble hearings. And the Senator Chairman, Mr. Biason, also asked her to attend then. Lastly, well, Mr. Joy De Venecia is here, Mr. Jarius Bondoc is here, and Attorney Verano is here. Some senators also asked you to be here. So,
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Estrada.
may I know the reason, what was the reason given by Mr. Ruben Reyes for not appearing before the Senate?
We received a letter from his lawyer stating that he will not be able to attend because he is presently in Beijing, China, pursuing and hopefully finishing the negotiation for a business transaction which he has been conducting with principals from Malaysia and Beijing, China.
Mr. Chairman, if my memory serves me right, during the last hearing, I informed this committee that Mr. Ruben Reyes is here in our country. I don't know why we did not make any representations with the Department of Justice or even the Bureau of Immigration and Deportation to have a hold order departure against him, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, we wrote a letter to the immigration, but the DOJ in a number of times have been saying that it is only the court that can order a whole departure order, but can issue a whole departure order. But Senator Escudero has asked the committee to study the matter, that the committee itself write directly whoever, whether apply the court or write directly the immigration department about or enforce a whole departure order, and we're studying that right
Mr.
now. But
Chairman,
we will find out whether he left before or after. We are writing the immigration department bureau to find out whether he left before getting the subpoena or after getting the subpoena.
how many times have we invited Mr. Ruben Reyes?
Senator, this is already, we have subpoenaed him this time.
Now, how many invitations have we
We
sent?
invited him the first time when he was mentioned, and then we issued a subpoena for this meeting. So one invitation, one subpoena.
Mr. Chairman, I think it is about time that the committee issue a warrant of arrest against this person for completely ignoring the Senate committee, Mr. Chairman. I move that we issue a warrant of arrest against Mr. Ruben Reyes.
Mr. Chairman.
Majority Leader.
Second.
Yes, before we issue the warrant, perhaps, so that we may be foursquare in terms of our procedure, may I suggest, humbly suggest, that perhaps we should ask him first to explain why he should not be cited in contempt of the Senate. So that would be the show cause letter. And then, on the basis of whether or not it is acceptable, we can cite him in contempt and the warrant be issued forthwith.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Senator Roy.
just so we follow the rules. Section 18 of the Rules of the Senate, in aid of legislation, says that the committee, by a vote of a majority of all its members, may punish for contempt any witness. So in other words, the vote should be a majority of all its members. So since we are almost all members of these three committees, in we're 23, that means that 12 members must vote for this. That it not be said that we don't follow our own rules. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that manifestation, Senator Arroyo. And in consonance with our tradition, what we do is to vote as termed by the majority leader by referendum, and the order of arrest is circulated, and if we gather a majority of the signatures, then it is considered that a majority of the members voted for the arrest.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, may we know what the ruling of the chair is as regards the motion to have Mr. Reyes arrested, because as chairman of the Rules Committee, I would like to appeal to our colleagues to proceed with caution in terms of arresting or citing a person in contempt. Perhaps a show cause should be the proper course of action at this time,
Mr. Chairman. Fair is fair. In fairness to Mr. Losada, who was issued a subpoena, and then when he failed to appear, he was immediately ordered arrested. So, in the spirit of fair play, Mr. Chairman, I reiterate my second to the motion of Senator Estrada.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Let me make the clarifications before the members make a judgment, or before we divide the House if we have to vote. No? As a general course of action, or in general, what we do is that if someone does not honor the subpoena, we order them to show cause. No? We did this with Secretary Neri, and this has been done past times, no. But sometimes when a person does not follow the subpoena and the reason is very glaring. So in the case of Mr. Losada, he gave us his excuse that same morning and he left that same morning, and under the circumstances, we issued the order of arrest. So Senator Lacson is also correct that in the past we have ordered directly, we have issued a order of arrest directly. However, in the Supreme Court oral arguments, no, we were asked many times about the procedure and many times some of the petitioners asked about the rule of fair play and due process, whether or not we will ask the person subpoenaed to explain yet. But Senator Lacson has told me that to the information of some members of the committee, he's in the country and it's not true that he is abroad. And under that circumstance, a subpoena would allow the committee to, a order of arrest would allow the committee to bring him here faster. No? So that is the present facts. No?
Yes, just a particular point of information. The last time that when we issued that warrant of arrest as against Mr. Losada, Mr. Chairman, this representation was not around. And had I been present in that hearing, Mr. Chairman, I would have again presented the position that perhaps a show cause would be the better course of action. In fact, the records will show that every time we would consider the arrest of a witness, in previous hearings when I was present, I would reiterate the importance of providing or the need to have the show cause, Mr. President.
Matter of personal privilege.
Senator Enrile.
I was the one who made the motion to cause the arrest of Mr. Losada. Since I was late, I would like to know the matter under discussion.
Yes, Senator. Senator Estrada moved to have Mr. Ruben Reyes move that the committee issue a order of arrest for Mr. Ruben Reyes because he wrote us a letter that he cannot honor the subpoena. His lawyer wrote us a letter because he is in Beijing, China, pursuing a business transaction. So the majority leader made a manifestation that maybe it would be better if we issue a show cause order before we issue an order of arrest.
But he was subpoenaed. He was subpoenaed. We issued the subpoena to the committee, rather.
To Mr. Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
we issued a subpoena.
Did he receive the subpoena?
His lawyer replied to us.
Because Mr. Chairman, I was very careful when I made that motion. I asked the chair exactly and directly whether Mr. Losada received the subpoena, and the answer was affirmative. And that's why I made the motion for his arrest. If the party is not properly served, how can we order his arrest?
Well, with the permission of the committee, the lawyer of Mr. Reyes is here. Do we care to clarify the matter with him?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Arroyo.
you see, we are going in circles. The rule is very clear. The position of the chair of the Rules Committee, the majority leader, is that first, anyone who disobeys an order should be asked to explain. That's what we mean when we say show cause, why you should not be arrested. So, the step is to show cause for him to explain. And this is the procedure we have to follow, because that is our rule. We cannot violate our own rule, no matter how we did it in the past. Past practices or past violations don't make it right. So we have to adhere to this. So I support the position of the majority leader. Not only that, we cannot just issue a warrant of arrest, because there is a difference between indirect contempt and direct contempt. Direct contempt is somebody here, for instance, makes a lot of noise, or does not answer questions, that is direct contempt. But one who disobeys an order, that is an indirect contempt. He has to have his day in court. Now, the reason why Senator Estrada says that there should be an arrest order is because, from his point of view, who is this guy? Mr. Reyes. Mr. Who I think nobody us here know, is telling a lie because he is in fact here in the Philippines. So that is the statement of Senator Estrada. However, we may respect the views of Senator Estrada. Still, it is the right that we have given to anyone who is summoned here. Let me repeat, our own rules give a right to anyone who is summoned here. The right and the opportunity to explain. So we just follow what the majority leader says, and I think we would have. Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman.
Well taken, Senator Roy. But just to clarify, no, the show cause order is something done by the Senate as a part of due process and sometimes as a courtesy. It is not in our rules because our rules does not distinguish between direct contempt and indirect contempt. The contempt defined by the rules is the inherent power of Congress to investigate, and flowing from that inherent power to investigate is the inherent power to find in contempt, which we defined as a witness disobeying any order of the committee. Therefore, for me, it's just a matter of discretion whether we would like to ask him to answer why he did not honor the subpoena, or whether it is at certain cases, the committee really orders the arrest right away, precisely to be able to to protect the integrity of the committee. No?
Mr. Chairman, I really don't care how the committee votes, but I want to lay down a simple question of due process. The Constitution says that anyone who is invited to a committee of Congress should be respected. The rights of persons invited should be respected. All right. So in other words, however we may feel, however we may condemn anyone here, the right to explain cannot be denied him. Otherwise, we'll become a kangaroo court, and that's it. That's my respectful submission. Otherwise, we must follow certain rules. Our rules say that the rules of court is supplementary to our own rules. In other words, if our own rules do not provide for the method, then the rules of court will be followed. That's it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, and with the indulgence of our colleagues, in particular Senator Estrada and the seconder of the motion, Senator Lacson, may I request that we defer discussion of this matter during the lunch break so that this can all be sorted out without taking up the time of the valuable time of our resource persons who are all here, and we want to be able to ask them our questions. So I don't think that it will matter whether we arrest, if we so do, arrest Mr. Reyes now or in 2 hours. So let's, if with the indulgence of everyone, can we defer action on this and we can discuss this during the lunch break so we can move on with the hearing proper, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, because I don't know how the committee will vote on this, no? The issue here is whether you should give a person summoned here his day in court. It's that simple. He did not appear. We don't believe him. We cannot just condemn him immediately. He has written a letter. Now, so, rules of fair play, due process simply says, you must give him his day in court. It is that simple. We cannot, as a Senate committee, be an example of violating the due process clause. And also the Constitution, which says that the rights of persons invited should be respected. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, just a very brief comment, if you will allow me.
Yes, the majority leader. And
Arresting a person does not amount to condemning him. I mean, does not. How many people have been arrested and then only to be proven innocent at some other point. There is no parity with the statement that if you order the arrest of person, you're actually condemning. No, sir. I disagree with that. And certainly, Mr. Chairman, considering all circumstances, there are ample reasons why the motion of Senator Estrada, backed up by Senator Lacson, is actually meritorious in so many respects. But I would like to second the observation of Chairman Rojas that pag-usapan na lang natin mamaya ito. And then we come out openly, what is the decision, so that the people will know. It's not something that we will say, oh, pag-usapan, then we'll just keep everybody in the dark. What did we agree on? So the important thing is, even if we defer this until noontime during the lunch break, somehow we tell the people that this is what our decision is on that matter.
Yeah, let me thank the majority leader. I also have my personal opinions, but I agree with Chairman Rojas. With the permission of all members, let's discuss it, because we also have to discuss the case of General Atutubo, General Rason, etc. No? Their show cause order, so that we can go directly to the resource persons. And I'd like to thank Senator Lacson and Senator Estrada. No? May I ask the Acting Director General to place under oath the witnesses who are here for the first time, and may I ask this gentleman to rise to take their oath. Senator
Before
Miller.
we proceed, may I know whether we have already received the answer of witness Losada with respect to a question that I posited in previous hearings? It's in the record that I've been requesting this answer.
Sir Losada.
I'm sorry po, Mr. Senator. Hindi po ho namin natatapos lahat kasi yung mga abogado ko po wanted to be with me. Marami na po kasi yun. Hindi ko po nagagawa lahat.
Maybe know from the witness, Mr. Chairman, as to a timetable within which he may be able to submit the requested answers.
After the Holy Week daw po, baka pwede na. We will have a break sa Holy Week.
Oh, it's okay with me, Mr. Yeah, I'll give him all the time to answer that question.
Attorney Sara Ariola, please place the witnesses under oath.
Please raise your right hand. Ayan, Mr. Corporal Ramirez. Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm or swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
For the record, the order of arrival of the senators are number 1, Senator Lacson, Senator Pimentel, Senator Estrada, Senator Rojas, Senator Pangilinan. That's the first 5, followed by Senator Biazon, Madrigal, Escudero, Aquino, and Alan Cayetano. So we'll start with Senator Lacson.
Yes, we will have the opening statements.
Senator, just for the record, number 11.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Gordon, number 12, Senator Arroyo, number 13, Senator Legarda, number 14, Senator Enrile, number 15, Senator Cayetano Pia.
Our presence been recorded, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, because I did not hear that we were recognized to be present in this hearing.
Recognized to be present.
Thank you.
With that, as we have followed in previous hearings, now we will go from left to right and ask if there are anyone who would like to make an opening statement before the senators ask their questions. No? So,
Mr. Chairman, just to abbreviate the proceedings, because perhaps there's just the 2 witnesses, the 2 new resource persons should be given the opportunity to make the opening statements. The others have already made their statements previously.
Most of them do not have opening statements, but sometimes between the 2 hearings, there are things that they want to clarify. But,
well, in that case, Mr. President, before we do the clarification, Mr. Chairman, may we suggest that we go first to the 2 new witnesses,
okay.
And then proceed. If they have some clarifications, the other witnesses may proceed.
If there are no objections, Corporal Ramilla, meron ka